Hello, it's a bit unplanned. This is the ROG Strix 1000 watt Aura Edition. This is ATX 3 PSU. So I wasn't planning to do this, but I'm halfway through doing it, so may as well. I was torn between the low key and this one. I ended up going with this one, just because some of the stats actually came off slightly better with this when you looked at some of the reports. And the Loki one, it's one of the form factor ones, which to me is sometimes a bit of a problem because when you've got power and you put it in a smaller place, the heat is trapped in a smaller place. It has a smaller fan as well, so this has got a slightly larger fan and it's a slightly larger case. So in theory, this should actually be cooler, and the fan shouldn't need to spin as fast as well. It is just the regular thing on the back where you've got the eco on and off and normal power. I actually usually leave mine on. The eco thing, it's nice and all, but I have seen in the past where sometimes the things get really warm, the fan plays catch up and it comes on and you can hear it turning itself on, trying to cool the thing down. And also, depending on your case, which at the moment is the NC7, that thing is not great for airflow. The PSU is located on the top rather than the bottom. That's one slight downside. But also the perforations on the side of that case, they're not great for letting in air. I know this by comparing it to the Dynamic XL Alien Lee. The PSU, the same PSU in there, could breathe fine. It's struggling a little bit inside that NZ7, and I think it's because the placement at the top and also the perforations that are on the side of the side panel aren't particularly very great. As for your connections, it's all the standard stuff. You've got your Aura sync thing there, cable if you want to do that. All the normal stuff. Apart from on here, you got your direct ATX3. It's the 16 pin with the sense pins on there. And this was the one which they said from the start that if you can go for a direct one, ideally do it. More so because it actually communicates and it gives it what it's supposed to have. It gets around things like over voltage and things like that, where it might send too much juice to your card or not enough in some instances. So this, in theory, is meant to actually communicate correctly and give your card what it's supposed to be getting, in theory. Cables wise, all your standard stuff, your SATAs and your PCIe. Quality wise, they feel and look great, but they're skinny, which means if you've got your normal standard cable combs lying around, it doesn't fit. They're too loose. So I'm having to try and improvise until I can find some ones that are designed for the Asus. Whether that'll just be a pure clip or whether they actually have cable combs for the skinny cables, I'm not sure. I'll have to have a look. So that's a bit annoying. Really, when you're buying these kind of things, if they're giving you all these cables, they should give you a handful, say like two combs for each cable that they provide you with. Really, it would cost them pennies to do, and it would make life a lot easier. It seems a bit silly that they don't. I wouldn't even mind if they put that on the price, if they stuck on an extra £2 on the price, because it would cost them less than the UK equivalent of £2 to put them bits of plastic in there. So, and in this instance, they must know themselves that the skinny ones are the harder to come by ones. So they must know that people is going to have a bit of an issue trying to get hold of them. Anyway, so yeah, it looks nice, it feels nice. And the reviews for it have been good. One of the first things I usually do is I normally type in the name of what it is I'm going to buy and then put in issues or faults, and nothing really sprang up, so that's usually a good start. They do give you a direct, I say, 16 pin, but they also give you, if I can find it, because I've been throwing all these cables everywhere, I think it's this one, a 2/8 pin, come on focus, G12 volts, 16 pin thing. Apart from the sense pins, I think they look like they're missing from there. So if you want to use one of them, you can, but really you should be using this. This is the whole reason why you're actually getting hold of one of these. Plugs wise, standard UK, and then so the European one. That's about it. It's got a 10-year warranty on it. It should, even when the 5090s come out. Now, this is rated to 600. I think the next gen PSUs are going to be rated to, is it 620 or 640? So really, any kind of talk about GPU, the GPU power for the next time, it's going to be whatever NVIDIA is working on. It's going to have to come under the 600 line, because otherwise it's going to knacker it for everybody. It won't matter what kind of thing you're running. I wouldn't like to use anything higher. I mean, you would have to use, I'm trying to think what you can get out of, you'd have to use either three 8 pins or 4 8 pins. So again, it would really knacker things for people with certain PSUs that just don't have the actual ports on the back of it as well. So it's going to be interesting to see what the 5090 draw is. I mean, they're looking at pulling up to 600 now if you really, but I mean, you get nothing for your power. I mean, the card's doing what they need to do. You're looking at say 500 really. Anything over that, and the gains are absolutely minimal. So even if you're going to say the 5090 is going to push it to say 550, like kind of averaging draw, or maybe even say 580 averaging draw, most of your games probably won't pull anything over say between 400 and 500. This is all just pure guesswork, just going by what I'm seeing now with the games and the draws now. So this 10-year warranty thing will be interesting, and it'll be interesting to see just how far it'll go before these PSUs just can't handle this kind of stuff, and they're going to have to change all the cables again. But a lot of that comes down to efficiency. If there's going to be changes in the chip design and stuff like that, and it doesn't need the power to actually get the performance, then there might come a day when your PSUs at 1000 that we're actually getting pushed to the limit. Maybe in the future you might end up with GPUs that actually use a lot less power, but to give you more performance. But I think we're quite away from that yet. So we'll see. So yeah. So I'll plug this in and give it a bash, and I will see if I can locate some Asus cable combs. Like I say, it's a bit annoying that the fact that they don't give you them. But yeah, quality wise and looks wise, they look decent. They're the kind of cables where certainly with the EVGA you had to buy extenders, or you had to buy custom cables, because the EVGA cables, they looked not very good at all. If you had a nice system, you didn't want them to be seen, so you were kind of forced into buying cables with that. Corsair I think are okay. I think a few of the other companies now have started to realise they have to make them look a bit nicer as well as do the job that they're meant to do. But yeah, nice looking cables. Looks like the kind of set that you would buy, like a custom set. But they just don't give you cable comms, man. Not good. Right, I'm going to go and install this. Have some fun. Bye.